right. Hello, gracefully chosen community. Welcome to a early kickoff special edition of Foster My Stories podcast. I'm multitasking, as you can see, so sorry if I'm looking down and looking a little everywhere. I'm trying to do a couple of things at once. Give me a second. I'm sending someone a message. Thank you for your patience. All right. And so, welcome to a special early kickoff. I know I said that it's going to be at 12, it will be, but welcome to an early kickoff. I'm super excited of the 2-year podcast anniversary. I am super excited, super thankful, super blessed to have now approached as far as December 2-year mark of the Foster My Stories podcast. And so just for those of you who don't know, let me just give like a quick recap of what Foster My Stories podcast is. Foster My Stories podcast was launched in December of 2020. And the vision of the podcast really is to basically bring an achievement focused platform for those associated with the foster, adoption, orphan, and underserved communities. And of course, this platform is not exclusive to just those communities. Anyone can watch, anyone can participate, anyone can take part. And so it's just surreal to me that the 2-year mark has just it went by so fast. And once again, for those of you who don't know, who am I? I'm your host of that podcast, Shalene Michelle Tate. I have a 17-year South Carolina foster care upbringing. And so a lot of the content here you may hear relative to the foster, adoption, orphan, and underserved communities, because I feel like those communities are intertwined. And once again, the purpose of this podcast is to present really an achievement focused platform for these different communities and anyone that's wanting to know more information about these communities, because all day every day we can hear about statistics and what these communities and individuals in these communities don't do right or what they do wrong, and we hear that all day every day, right? And so as someone who is an advocate from these communities and have gone through these communities, the mission is to put these communities in a positive light. And how does the podcast do this? Well, since launching, the goal of the podcast has grown tremendously to basically highlight 3 to 4 different sections of the podcast. The first section of the podcast likes to have featured guests who are closely related through upbringing and just really past experiences dealing with the foster, adoption, orphan, and underserved community. So those are your featured guests. The podcast also likes to present in another segment the Relate to You segment of the podcast, which really likes to highlight public figures, books and movies, short films, and just content of people out there who may be public figures or just different content that's out there relative to those different communities. Then you have your community guest highlights, basically interviews with community guests, and community does not have to always mean here locally in South Carolina. I've had the honor and privilege of interviewing guests from different states, and so the community guests are those emerging leaders and current leaders who are wanting to basically make strides for anyone, whether they're in the foster, adoption, orphan, underserved, any community that they have a service, maybe like Jessica Burton. She has family atmosphere mentoring that definitely has a heart for the youth here in the local community. And so your service, should I say, that definitely wants to help others progress is what I like to highlight in my guest interviews from the community highlights. And then finally, the next part, or really the last part of the segment of the podcast, likes to interview guests who I feel are experts in these different fields: foster, adoption, orphan, underserved. And I feel like they have, definitely have made tremendous strides to just really continue to show the positive narrative. Prime example, Dr. John DeGarmo, who's a mentor for myself and other leaders that I know. He is an example of who I call a expert special guest. He has the Foster Care Institute. I've had the privilege of having him on the podcast twice. And so I'm super excited for what the new year may bring. And then once again, I like to take one day at a time. We don't know what's going to happen the next day, but God willing, I would love to have other guests on who I've met along the way, who I have not yet interviewed. And so, but for right now, one day at a time, right? So once again, the Foster My Stories podcast, the goal is to have a voice for those who I feel have always kind of been voiceless. And a lot of times when you're hearing content and just different things from these communities, it's not always positive. And a lot of times, unfortunately, these communities are lumped into statistics that's beyond their control. They are often labeled remedial or behavioral or need medication or isolation. They're always put in statistics with early teen pregnancy and school dropouts and on crime, and that tends to be the narrative a lot. But despite that, I know from my personal past and of stories I've heard along the way, there's a tremendous number of individuals out there who are associated with these communities, and I want to take the time to express this. I don't feel like it's expressed enough. I know there's a lot more people besides myself who have gone through these communities, and unfortunately there's been a negative stigma and a shame that has been put over you to feel as if you can't talk about your time in those communities. Now, of course, my goal is not to bring up anything that's traumatic, especially if you experienced a traumatic situation in those communities, foster, adoption, orphan, underserved. That's not really easy for anybody to talk about. But if you have, let's say, if you have healed, let me say that, if you feel that you have healed despite your past dealing with the foster, adoption, orphan, or underserved, and when I say healed, I mean you can talk about it and it won't take you into a deep end. That's what I mean by healed. If you feel you have healed despite that past upbringing or experience, I would love to talk to you. We've had some success stories here on Foster My Stories. Jamal Stroud, who is on Facebook known as Breezy Stroud, he is a success alum. He was on Ellen DeGeneres' show, and the segment he went on featured Tiffany Haddish, who he didn't know why he was there. He thought it was for a different reason, and come to find out, Tiffany was there to really award him in his efforts as really a community leader. He is here in South Carolina now, but he has this dynamic service, big homie, little homie, that basically mentors youth, especially the male population. We need more male mentors. So if you are in the Midlands and you have a heart for the youth, I recommend you connecting with Breezy Stroud, aka Jamal Stroud, of Big Homie, Little Homie, and connecting with him about how you could be a mentor. And once again, he doesn't ask for all of your time, but just maybe once a month of your time to see how you can be a positive influence into the lives of youth, especially the male population. I think that'll be a dynamic connection. And once again, Breezy, he's doing some amazing things. His service is growing, continues to grow, and I'm going to continue advocating for him and others like him. So once again, I know there are quite a few people out here, said a little earlier, who are associated through upbringing and past with the foster, adoption, orphan, underserved communities. And I know you've gotten a bad rep or you feel ashamed because you're connected to those areas. And I want to extend a hand and tell you to, I want to talk to you. And then once again, only if you feel you have healed. And I said this a little earlier, if you're healed concerning those situations, meaning you could talk about it without kind of going on the deep end. I want to talk to you. I want others to hear your stories. And if you want to be a part, reach out to me on Facebook as well. And once again, I'm probably going a mile a minute because I'm super excited. This is the 2-year anniversary of Foster My Stories podcast. So thankful for all the listeners And I'm gonna keep going as long as God gives me the breath to keep going. The strides, a lot more dynamic additions that's going to be happening in relation efforts. And one of the biggest efforts, since this is a new year, right, or going into a new year, but it's a new launch, right? Today is the 2-year mark for the podcast. What better way? Let me see, can I share my screen? What better way to further connect the efforts of the podcast? I'm gonna show you. And while I'm doing this, I'm gonna share my screen. Hopefully it works, right? If I do it live, and then there'll probably be some stuff going on with it, right? I'm gonna see, can I share my screen? But I want to do an addition. Here we go. Let's see. All right. All right. Let's see where I can go. Yes. All right. Here we go. And I'm going to share this. Thank you for your patience. So basically, what I'm doing now is I'm going to share my screen. Let's see, I put it on here while I'm sharing it. If it lets me. And of course, when you're doing stuff live, Here we go. Oh, stuff on the spin. Well, I'm trying to do this right. Okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it because I'm like a kid right now, wanting to share and do a little everything. So what I'm trying to share right now is YouTube is now going to be the addition as part of the podcast efforts, and I have included all of the seasons. I got to add season 15, but I have included all of the additions of the podcast to a new and approved YouTube channel. That way you can view the content up close and personal. Super excited. Here we go. And so what I'm sharing right now this is season 10, which is live. I have all my other seasons on there. I have to go and add season 15. But the reason why I'm showing you season 10 is because this is where your question of this week is going to come for a trivia prize giveaway, and I want people to be able to get to it. No longer do I want to have listeners say, I can't find the content. Well, now you can, because guess what? Everything is going to be on YouTube right here for you to see right now. This is the YouTube platform, the Fostered My Stories podcast YouTube page. And you can find this easily at FMS Story Plus. So it's Frank, Mary, Sam, Tom, Orange, Robert, India, and then the word plus. Just to make it easier, you can look it up, Fostered My Stories Plus. And then you're going to have, what you're going to have is really the content from every season of the podcast just right here in your face. You're going to be able to see who was interviewed, what the conversation was about, easy, accessible, and you could get to. And that's why I'm highlighting season 10, because season 10 is where I'm wanting to ask your first trivia question of the month, and the winner, the first person who's able to really send me the correct answer, will be the prize winner for this week. So what is the question of the month, right? What is the question of the week? Well, I want to know if anybody who's watching right here in season 10 of the podcast, once again, all the episodes are about to go live on YouTube, and throughout the day, you're going to see more content go live. But season 10 of the podcast, the whole season is live. In season 10, episode 37 for Dave Armstrong, Sensi Dave Armstrong, I'm wanting somebody to respond with what was Dave's turning point to allow him to transition into, let's say, I don't want to say adulthood, but more of purpose and maturity. There we go. What was that turning point? What happened? And I'm going to give a better hint. Okay, so Dave was a youth, and then he had, something happened. It was a turning point. what was that turning point for him to then transition to like, I want to get my life right? And so that's why I'm going to leave that there. The question of the week is in episode Foster My Stories, season 10, episode 37, Sensei Dave Armstrong, he had a turning point as a youth. What was that turning point that made him kind of want to get it right? The first person who can really go and listen to that content and find that answer, or be able to best voice the answer I'm looking for, you will be put in, you will win a prize. You will win a prize drawing for the trivia correctly answered. And so how am I looking for those responses? Well, you can inbox me on my Facebook page privately. I wouldn't recommend just sharing it to a post, because then everybody can just take the answer, right? You could go to the, well, you can't really see here, but you can go to my Facebook page. And if you're watching this right now, you're on my Facebook page. So here we go. There we go. If you are watching this right now, you are on my Facebook page. You should see, there we go, the Foster My Stories 2-year anniversary, big old banner right here, live Sundays. Today I'm super early because I'm like a kid in a candy store. This is like the official kickoff of this. So that's why I'm like super early. But the next couple of Sundays are going to be at 12. Yes, I know Christmas falls on a Sunday. So if y'all can, bear with me and you listen on a Sunday, Christmas Day, it might be a bigger prize for whoever gets the answer right for that week. All right. So once again, if you're on my Facebook page, then you are on the right place. You should see a picture of me winking at you. And let me see. I don't know if I can see myself here in the video live. No worries if I can't. But if not, no worries. There's a replay. All right. So here's the Facebook page. And you can send me a message right here and via Messenger and send me your answer. You don't have to put it in the comments here of the video, because I want to read everybody's response individually. So what are we doing, right? Once again, I'm like a kid in the candy store, because this is the 2-year anniversary of the podcast. I'm super thankful for all the guests and just the comments, and even people who have come back who I didn't really know watch the content, have really been very encouraging to let me know to keep going with this. And so I appreciate each and every one of you. I know the subject matter of foster, adoption, orphan, and underserved is not easy by any means, but I want to paint a positive, achievement forward thinking view on the reality of what these communities go through. We always hear about the negative, but I want to hear more positive. And so that's why this platform is here. And so, yes, once again, if you're on my Facebook page, Foster My Stories Podcast, 2-year anniversary, yes, we are promoting discounted items and providing suggested gift ideas. And then we're having our trivia giveaways. And once again, your trivia giveaway for today, which a winner is going to be picked based off the responses and announced next Sunday. So if you tune in next Sunday, you're going to find out who won. But I'm looking for someone to go on the YouTube page. I'm putting the links in when this video posts on officially. I'm going to put it there. That way it's easy to get to. So if you're watching the replay, the link is going to be in the replay video. So you won't have to be like, oh my gosh, I can't find it. Okay. So this is the page. This is the official Foster My Story YouTube page, not just Foster My Stories, but it's going to include, highlights from different other efforts. We have Gracefully Chosen, which is a brand I'm working on. I always say at the end of every video, if you are associated with being fostered, adopted, orphaned, or underserved, you're what I like to give a new name, Gracefully Chosen. The names have stigmas to them and negativity. You're gracefully chosen. Why? Because, you may have gone through that, but you are gracefully chosen for a purpose beyond your understanding. And when you find that is part of a purpose, despite how you got there, then that makes it even more real, even more worthwhile, despite. So once again, I've gotten to that revelation of I was supposed to go through foster care. I know it sounds weird, but I now understand that I was supposed to go through that. And because it's tied to a greater purpose beyond me. Let's say that. And then also here, you're going to probably see Foster My Stories is the name of the podcast. I'm also working on a website called Foster My Story. So it's going to be spelled a little different. FMSTORI.com. Don't go there now. It's not ready. It's in the works. Adding some more stuff. But there's a website that's going to have all these efforts like right there in your face, bit by bit highlighted, and just ways you get involved. And then TFOM has been my baby since 2016. TFOM stands for the Fisher of Men. And really, it is really a collaborative effort platform for those of you out there who are fall into that community and expert and everyday people who are wanting really to highlight your efforts as well. It's a platform for us to kind of, encourage and promote and inspire and attribute to each other, whether you're trying to get an investor, whether you are needing funds to get your project launched. That's what the Fisher of Men is going to help do. And once again, all these things are in the works, steadily in the works, right? And so back here on the page, you probably see some stuff right now, some different seasons. When the day is over, you're going to have a complete playlist ready to go. Like all these videos are ready to go to like watch, but you're going to also have a playlist organized for each season of the podcast. Right now, we're season 15, and we just finished up with Rosalind Ryder, dynamic testimony that she has, and episode 60. So I'm just once again 2 years. It's surreal to me, and so but right now for today's purposes, season 10 is the whole playlist is live. So you should be able to find it and get to, he's the very first video, Dave Armstrong, Sensi, Dave Armstrong, amazing testimony, dynamic leader in what he does. But I'm wanting to know, based off his content, what was that turning point as a youth for him? What was the positive turning point for him to kind of transition into like a sense of, it's time for me to grow up and do right? I want to know what that was. And if somebody can message me individually, not for everybody else to see, the closest to answer that I'm looking for in details, not just, okay, he was a X, Y, and Z. No, I want details. Like, what was it? Who was it? How did it happen? I want those types of details. If you could give that to me, then you're going to be named my WK1 prize winner for the trivia for the month of December. Once again, I'm celebrating 2 years, so I want to really celebrate you, the listeners, the viewers, for just your contribution and just helping me reach this milestone. And once again, as you know, I could talk a mile in a minute. And so I'm super excited. So next up, speaking of the podcast, right? Speaking of the podcast, let's see. I hope everybody can see this. I hope it's not like super small and you're trying to squint. Like, what is that? So I wanted to promote some discounts and some suggested gift ideas. Well, I want to start off with suggested gift ideas. Okay, so I want to promote, and I've had her as a guest on the podcast, phenomenal woman, Melinda Grayson. She has a cake shop, and not just cakes, just different treats. Oh my gosh, cakes, treats, and just different stuff. Sweet Creations by Melinda. I am suggesting her, and you have to kind of get on it because she kind of gets booked. But I suggest her stuff, her desserts and her treats. She is in Myrtle Beach, but the ordering is worth it. Let me say that. She's in Myrtle Beach. Sweet Creations by Melinda. I am suggesting her as a holiday gift to anybody you know. I would go on her website. Once again, I'm hoping you're seeing this like kind of up close. Sweet Creations by Melinda. She has cakes and just different sweets, and just to the point of, her stuff is kind of like just traveling everywhere, and really have a heart of gold, phenomenal leader in what she does. She is, Melinda Grayson was my guest on, I think season season 6 of Foster My Stories. And basically, she comes from a background of working in the court system, but she has a heart of gold. She's a dynamic baker. She has different sweets that have just really touched her area. Let me see, can I pull up something while we're on here? Oh, she has some Trinity treat boxes. Let's see what this is. And yes, I've tried a lot of her stuff. That strawberry cheesecake cupcakes, that's just on some other level. Okay. Okay. All right, Trinity Treat Box. Let's see what this is. All right, so Trinity Treat Boxes is this week's special on her website. So the treat boxes come with 3 customized sizes. Comes with 9 baked goods and candies and decorations inside for $40 plus shipping. Let's see, and I think you could customize what you have. Pound cakes, but oh gosh, different flavors. I'm kind of getting mouth watering. Coconut strawberry loaf. Ooh, you get cookies, brownies, treat bars. So for a limited time, they're offering. So for a limited time, they're offering slices of Mama T's Lemon Love Supreme Cake. Ooh, 3-layer lemon cake with lemon supreme icing. Now, Pastor Eddie's favorite. So whoever Pastor Eddie's is, I'm pretty sure he has a dynamic taste. Three-layer yellow cake with chocolate icing and a 3-layer red velvet cake. Oh, that sounds so good right now. I'm not. Oh my gosh, that sounds so great. Yes. As you can see, I'm like a little kid right now. I am suggesting that you look into her Trinity treat boxes for the holidays. Give her a call. Let me see right here. Is right here on the website, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And you're trying to, and you may say, "Oh gosh, that's far away." It's worth it. It's worth the going ahead and putting your order in. Going to her website once again, Sweet Creations by Melinda. SweetCreationsByMelinda.com. That's highlighted up there. Giving her a call, 843-564-3484. And that's not the only thing I want to highlight. I was also saying discounts, through the holidays, right? So, what's a better way to go ahead and get your sweets ordered just in time for the holidays? We got, Christmas coming up. We just got for Thanksgiving, but this is some delectable sweets you would want to have around the table. This is what I'm talking about right here. Giving her a call and seeing what all she can do for you based off of her menu, I would say would be a dynamic gift suggestions, not just for your family, but maybe somebody right? You haven't seen a relative in a while, or you probably hear that bird. It's a birdie outside. Okay. Somebody you haven't seen in a while, and they may be in another state, or you just want to send something, to somebody you're just thinking of. Sweet Creations by Melinda would be a great gift. Once again, I would hop on this ASAP, right? Because we are in the holidays, and stuff needs shipping and handling and processing time. So Sweet Creations by Melinda. And also, speaking of discounts, to pair with this Sweet Creations by Melinda, let's look at McNess store, which has some discounted items that I want to highlight for you. This is also paired with Sweet Creations by Melinda. Okay, so right here at the McNess, MCNESS store.com, you have 4 packs of extracts for $35, and these are specialty made, right? You got lemon extract, peppermint, almond, and what's that? Oh, it's the Wonder flavor. I wonder what that Wonder flavor is. Can I zoom into that? Let me see if I can. Well, no, I don't want to mess up anything, right? But there's some kind of Wonder flavor here. Right now, these are on discounted special. McNess store. You have a 4-pack extracts. I think this would be great to go ahead and place an order in, especially if you're somebody who likes to bake for the holidays. Then you can use, these extracts and then have a extra flair to your goodies, right? And then people could ask you, "Ooh, something different this year." Why? Well, that's because I used one of these extracts from McNess store that was highlighted on the 2-year anniversary of Foster My Stories podcast by host, super excited host, Shalina Michelle Tate. And so, yeah, let's go down the list. Holiday specials now through December 15th. Oh, I will hop on this ASAP. 4 packs of extract for $35. Okay, so 1 of each pure almond extract, pure lemon extract, pure peppermint extract, and I'm trying to figure out what this wonder flavor is. And I guess you're going to wonder what it is. It might be a surprise. I don't know. And then of course they have varying prices based off what you're trying to purchase. But they also have some other featured items as well. Right now, I am featuring or really suggesting the extracts, and that those extracts are tied as well to Sweet Creations by Melinda. So there you have it. Let me go back. I want to show you again. Let me go to my Facebook page for today, for this week. Let's say it this way. And there's some other dynamic discounted items and suggested gift ideas I'm going to be doing as well next week as well. So no worries. There's more. There's more items I'm going to be talking about. But today, early kickoff, right? Today, your suggested gift item is Sweet Creations by Melinda. Going to her website, possibly the Trinity treat boxes, which tends to be might come with some goodies. I will hop on those because those might go quick. Those sound like some really quick and delectable gift ideas. You can go ahead and hop on, and once again, I will hop on them because of shipping and handling and processing, and according to what state you're in as well. And then also looking back at for discounts, McNess Store, MCNESS store.com. And I was talking about the extracts. Let me see. Okay, that went somewhere. Here we go. There we go. Yeah, here we go. So it's 35. You use 4 packs of extract, but you know what? I bet the wonder is delectable. I'm pretty sure that wonder, whatever that wonder is delectable. And of course, if you get it, you can. And better yet, you can also reach out, right? You can reach out and try to get more details, as far as everything, as far as that wonder, especially if you have allergies or whatnot, and you're just wanting to know before you send it off as a gift. You can reach out to them at Next Store. I guess you would have to. I'm not sure if you register. Okay, here's a number right here. There's a number right here at the bottom of the screen, 608-424-0405. And just kind of talk with them just to get the details as much as possible. Let me see. Yeah, flavor additive. Yeah, and of course, I know the ingredients are on the bottle, back of the bottle as well. All right, let me go back through everything because I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Once again, you're getting for this week. Next week is the rest of the weeks are going to be 12 p.m. All right, so Eastern time. This week is I've just decided to just hop on here super early for like a kickoff and just kind of remind you of what Foster My Stories podcast is. And I want to just go back down that list as a refresher, and especially for those of you who may be just tuning in. Foster My Stories was birthed in December of 2020 with really a vision and a heart to just kind of help communities I'm associated with tell achievement-focused storylines. Once again, I was raised in the South Carolina foster care system, 17-year veteran, I guess you want to call, alum from Richland County DSS. And growing up, I've always heard the negative, and I still do, the negative stereotypes and just stigmas associated with these communities, foster, adoption, orphan, underserved. And that's not all we are. And I am, really had the heart to, and I can't take all the glory, I can't take all the credit. God gets his glory. The person you see now, still developing and daily effort, but really I have a stirring to, not just with the podcast, there's other efforts I'm working on, but to help put a positive achievement storyline out there. Because all you hear when you turn on the news is, what this person did and where they came from, but where's the achievement? There's achievement out there, and that's what the podcast is striving to continue doing, giving a voice to those who kind of feel their voices, right? And I'm going to say this again. I said this earlier during the live, but you may have very well come from those communities, foster, adoption, orphan, underserved, and you feel like, one, nobody understands you, or that may be your current situation, right? You may be a teenager watching this and you're like, man, I'm in that right now, and, I feel like an outcast. Nobody understands me or gets me. Guess what I do? I get you, I understand you, and I know where you've been. And guess what? That's not your end all be all. And guess what? You have a purpose and a story to tell, whether you understand that or not yet. And what you can start doing is start journaling your experiences, writing down your journals like every day, your feelings, your emotions, and get those out in a positive way, right? You never know. That could be a dynamic book you could share with others, your testimony of how you overcame and got through. If you have gone through those experiences and you just feel ashamed, whatnot, and you just feel maybe in your household you're now married, you have kids, and you just don't want to revisit that, or it's just like so bad for you, I'm praying that you find healing and just encouragement to know that that does not define you despite that. You're not defined by that. And if you ever have the courage to tell your story, testify about your experience, but in a positive, hey, you know what, that was my past, but this is where God, I came from this, but God got me through and I'm now here. Those are the storylines I want to hear. The achievement through, overcoming, because that's really what happens when we overcome by the word of our testimony, right? We was there, but now we're here, not by our own means and accord or anything, because I'm now an advocate. Let me just say this: I'm now an advocate, and I know other people probably can't say this yet. I'm now an advocate of, what, I feel like greatly that a lot of our past is tied to our purposes. And I don't know if others can understand or relate to what I'm saying, but I have discovered for myself that my past in the foster care system was not for anything. I now realize that, oh my goodness, that was all necessary for a greater purpose. And a lot of times we can't understand it, right? We're going through those things. We got questions. Why did this happen to me? Well, why couldn't aunties and uncles step in? Why? We got a lot of whys and questions, and but you know what? If you're still here, you're still breathing, you still have purpose. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying to make it now 2 years, right? You have purpose. You have purpose. And so once again, to recap, I'm doing a lot of recap, right? Because I'm a big kid in the candy store. um, your past is not the end all be all to what you are, or where you've been, or where you're gonna go. It's what you make out of it, right? The goal is not to like leave you in the trenches and just say, you know what, that's all you'll ever be. You probably have already heard that all your life, right? I know I have heard that from people. The first night of my stay in a foster home, the foster mother was telling me, you'll never be anybody, you'll never go anywhere, you'll never do anything with your life. But you know what? Even her saying that was necessary to me. Why? Because now I remember that, that was her way of thinking then. She may not feel that way now. And I'm pretty sure she's had countless other foster youth in her home, and she just had to see a difference, a way of life differently. And so you may have come from a home that wasn't as empathetic or sympathetic to your situation. You may have been in trauma that you just don't want to talk about. It's okay. But when you are ready, man, the healing that can take place, right? Once again, I have sequels to Fostered. It's been some years. I know a lot of people say, well, what's taking so long? Why is it? What I've come to realize is a lot of times we will put a date and a time frame on stuff, and we're thinking, oh yeah, by next year I'm gonna do this. Well, sometimes it doesn't happen that way, and life does happen, and sometimes there's still healing and stuff that needs to take place, and sometimes the thing that you thought was going to be a certain way, it turned into a completely different thing. What am I talking about? Well, I have 2 follow-ups to Fostered that I thought was going to be written a certain way, but guess what? They're turning into something continuation, right? But completely different. So those things are being worked out right now, and it also stirred other things. This podcast is stirring also efforts for short films, foster care inspired short films that's in the works. Speaking of that, if you want to work with me on that and you have some knowledge in that area, I would love to connect with you. Okay, that's okay. I'm gonna leave that there. But not just that. There's some other things in the works that I'm super excited to just help bring as a collaborative effort for these communities: foster, adoption, orphan, undisturbed, and basically that is the purpose of. Let me go back to it. Foster My Story. Foster My Stories, that brand is going to help people, wants to help people tell their stories through short films, podcasting, achievement focused outlets, creativity. And that's what that brand is going to do, help people tell their stories. Books. You haven't written your book yet? What are you waiting for? You're waiting for inspiration. You got it. Take notepad, take a pen, and just write. Go somewhere peaceful. Go to the park. Go, I don't know, to the beach by the water and find somewhere peaceful and just write. Let it flow. And sometimes you may have to carry a notebook and have a moment of inspiration. I don't know. Or maybe you're sitting on business ideas like I've been, but okay. Whatever your thing is, that's what I'm trying to say. You stay encouraged and never let people tell you that you're only going to amount to anything here, here, and here. Don't ever let people continue to tell you can only make it but so far. Don't continue to let people tell you, oh, well, because you came from this situation, you could never amount to that situation. God knows the plans and the purposes He has for your life. And I'm just testifying that He took somebody who was broken, destitute, and just had really no hope and confidence in really anything, including myself. And over these past few years has just been stirring me to have a voice and not be ashamed and tell others that you have purpose and that it doesn't end with your past, it doesn't end with your current, but you still have a future that you can birth. I don't know. But okay, once again, I tend to ramble. The podcast episodes will now be featured on YouTube. I've been updating the YouTube channel, and it's going to be at Foster My Story, FMSTORI plus, the word plus, kind of helps you get there. And here, by the end of the day, I'm hoping to have all of the playlists ready for you to go, for you to be able to go through seasons 1 through 15 of the podcast. And once again, for this week, we're focusing on season 10. Why season 10? Because Mr. Dave Armstrong kicked off 2022 as my first guest for the new year. And so, Mr. Dave Armstrong, that's why he's your first trivia question for this week. And once again, whoever is able to inbox me privately, right? Let me go back to it. Not here. On the Facebook page, in Messenger, the answer I'm looking for closest to, right? Closest to. I'm going to be reading each and every individual response. Whoever's able to, the quicker the answer, the person who quickest answers, that's the person, I'm going to read through. And then hopefully maybe there might be a few more prizes for just people participating. Randomly, of course. Random. There's going to be random drawings. So who's able to answer what was Dave Armstrong's turning point as a youth to kind of get him to kind of like get to that point of, I need to make a change. And we all have our moments, right? And sometimes we need a swift kick, each of us. And I've gone through my shared things of, okay, I got to get it together type thing, But for Dave Armstrong, season 10, what was that for him? What happened for him? What was his turning point? I'm interested in reading your replies to that via the Facebook page. And, whoever I choose, I'm going to basically highlight the winner, the main winner, who's going to win something, a gift card or so next Sunday. And there may be a few more prizes to give for other people who's able to closely provide the answer I'm looking for. But once again, each week, even the 25th, which falls on a Sunday, 12 o'clock, I'm going to be, giving whatever the last trivia question for that week is, and it's for a bigger prize. So stay connected. All right. And so all this rambling, what does this rambling do, right? Just to basically say I'm super excited and thank you for tuning in today. Today was an early podcast really celebration episode. The next couple Sundays will be around 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. But today I want to hop on to kick it off, right? To let you know why Foster My Stories podcast was made. Once again, who I am as your host and how I connect to these communities. Also to just kind of share an overview of what the purpose of the podcast is and the efforts it wants to make. And to also award you, the listeners, for now my voice wants to go, your efforts for listening and just being a part. And so, just to recap, the suggested gift idea I was saying was from Melinda Grayson's Sweet Creations Bakery, which is in Myrtle Beach. But if you hop on, the website Sweet Creations by Melinda, kind of look at her stuff, I was kind of like highlighting the Trinity boxes, which seems like really good boxes to have for the holidays. Um, that's this week's special. She could probably get that to you ASAP. But once again, you gotta get your order in, right? And got some delectable flavors there. Okay, I need to stop looking at this page because I'm gonna get hungry. All right, and so, and then also for your discounted items, I was suggesting over at McNess Store. McNess Store. And once again, I'm gonna put these links to these websites in the description of this video, so that way whoever's watching the replay, you will be able to get to the YouTube page. Once again, Foster My Stories is now launched via YouTube, and so today will be the official first day, right? Yay! So now on YouTube, and I'm super excited because whoever I will interview going to the new year, we're going to also incorporate your lives on YouTube. That way more people could participate live, ask questions live, get involved live. That's the whole point, right? And so, all right. And then McNessStore.com, these extracts right here. Once again, peppermint, lemon, almond, and some kind of wonder. You're wondering what it is. Maybe it's blueberry. I don't know. But I know it's good. I know I know. I can just tell it's something really good. Maybe some. Okay, I don't know. Chocolate. Okay, let me get off this because I'm going to get hungry again. But McNessStore.com, Sweet Creations by Melinda. And once again, those are your discounted items and your suggested gift items for this week. Next Sunday, I'm going to announce a main winner for the trivia. Once again, trivia is coming from the YouTube page for Foster My Stories Plus. And then you get there at FMS Story. Plus, kind of get there quick. Yeah, make it easy for people. We are focusing on season 10 of the podcast, which is live right now. The whole season is live. And Dave Armstrong, who kicked off this year, 2022, as my first guest, what was the significant turning point in his life? I want a detailed answer that you can send to me privately through Messenger. That way everybody can't see it and just take it and answer and say, no, that's not what I'm looking for. I want a detailed so-and-so came to blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. All right, well, I done rambled and re-rambled on again because once again, I'm a kid in the candy store, the bakery shop, and the extracts, and okay. And today as the first launch of the Foster My Stories YouTube page. Welcome to the end of 2022, right? I'm super excited. Don't know what's going to happen going into 2023, but you know what? I'm just going to take one day at a time. And I just thank each and every one of you for helping me get here. You, the listeners, you, the participants, those of you who've left comments on the videos, and just your time taking in watching and, just sharing this content and just going on this journey with me to just, know that this stuff is here to help you. It's all to help really create a better name, right? And I always say this, being fostered, adopted, orphaned, or underserved really means you're gracefully chosen. And even if you have not come from those communities of being fostered, adoption, orphan, or underserved, you still have purpose. No matter what your testimony, you could be a gazillionaire, right? Grew up a gazillionaire, and you're just trying to find out, what your purpose is in life. You still have purpose. We all do, and we all have to find out what our purpose is. And once again, a lot of times our purpose is tied to our past. I don't know if everybody believes that or not, but that's what I discovered for myself. So I'm super thankful for you listening in today for an early segment. Once again, this is supposed to be at 12. There go 12 right there, right? But those of you who are watching, this is going to be on a replay. In the next couple of Sundays, this will be at 12 p.m. Eastern. I just kicked this off today because I was a little kid, right? And just wanting to just say thank you for two years of support for this podcast. I am truly thankful, and I am looking forward to, well, one day at a time, and wherever this progresses to. All right. Well, I thank each and every one of you for listening. I thank each of you for just like hearing me ramble. I thank each of you for just going on this journey with me and to see what's to come and to share this launch of the YouTube Foster My Stories page with me. And those of you who are wanting to participate in this week's trivia, once again, Fostered My Stories Plus. And you're going to go to your playlist. Season 10 is live right now. And I'm looking for you to answer the question, submit the question via Messenger for what was the turning point for Sensei Dave Armstrong. And I will announce that main winner, next Sunday, do that live. And hopefully maybe some other winners as well, who can answer what was Sensei Dave's turning point. He's awesome. Dave Armstrong is awesome. And you know what? I encourage you not to just listen for the answer. Please listen to the entire episode because he has some valuable, resources in there, some tips in there, and he's phenomenal for a youth mentor. Listen in for his website that you could go to. That's another thing. If you're a parent and you're listening, and just like somebody, a leader or somebody who's wanting to kind of give a gift to a child, he has his website, his products and stuff, his services can meet you right where you are with your youth. So this might also be a good gift idea, but for this episode, I'm not going to tell you what the website or anything is. It's in the episode. So I encourage you to go listen to the episode and get that knowledge, visit that site, and see how you can make a difference in the life of a child. Listen to his testimony and just see that, we've come from some different paths and some different stuff, but it's not too late. We still have purpose. And Mr. Dave Armstrong clearly is a success story in that area. All right. I could get excitable, as you can see, right? So I'm going to stop sharing. I hope you caught all that, right? Go back to the live stream if I can. It's kind of dark. There we go. All right, so I'm going to go up. Oh, I think I do have some comments up here. Let me go see what these comments are. I thank y'all for just y'all patience hearing me ramble. I have some comments over here. Let me read these comments. Yes, Mr. Danny Van, I will be mentioning you, I think, next week, but I'm going to go ahead and put this out there since you posted it. So Mr. Danny Van, Mr. Danny Van, former foster trauma survivor, he's a phenomenal community mentor, especially for male youth or whatnot. But he wrote a book called My Journey in the Shadow of the King. It's on Amazon. And he also has a journal to do a brain dump to get started. So yeah, and if you're in the comments of the replay and you're catching this information early, I would basically see, can you find his information. You can also visit his website at Danny Van, DANNYVANN.com, and he has a lot of books and journals and just phenomenal resources that can get you started. You are a youth, started in progressing in life, right? But I'm gonna get more into Mr. Danny Van going into next week. I'm kind of, those of you who are early, catch this early, right? Catch some nuggets here early. Mr. Danny Van, thank you so much for watching the live. Those of you who are catching the replay, share this information with somebody and just remember, as always, that including your background, along with being foster, adopted, orphaned, or underserved, means you're gracefully chosen. And today, let me leave this. Okay, today is the kickstart of 2 years for the podcast, but really this journey has been a journey with each and every one of you. So once again, I appreciate each and every one of you for just making this a journey and the surrealism that 2 years. If you are just now tuning in and you've missed like everything I said, no worries. This is going to be on replay. Go watch the content. Go listen to the fact that YouTube is now an inclusion of the podcast information. Go, if you want to participate in the trivia that I left on this video, go to season 10 of the podcast, which is now on YouTube, and listen to season 10, episode 37 with Sensei Dave Armstrong, and answer that question I just left in this video, and see if you can be one of the prize winners that I will announce for next Sunday for this week's trivia of what was Dave Armstrong's turning point in his life. And I want details, not no 2 words. I want like details of who, what, where, when, why. And also catch. Let me just say it one more time. sweetcreationsbymelinda.com. That is your suggested gift idea. Once again, baked goods and just different items like that. You got to order those things kind of early, right? Because of shipping and handling and processing. And then your discounts for this week or whatever, or for this month. McNess, MCNESS.com. Those 4 extracts that I put on this live as well. Go back and watch the replay. If you're just turning in and you missed all that, go back and watch this replay. I'm about to end this broadcast, but I'm about to put in the video, page or link or whatnot, the link to McNess store, the link to Sweet Creations by Melinda, and also the link to the new Foster My Stories Facebook page. So you can go and get your answer from season 10, episode 37, Dave Armstrong, and answer that question for a prize. Okay. Welcome to December 2022, 2-year anniversary celebration for the podcast. I'm your host, Shalene Michelle Tate. Super excited. The next couple of Sundays are going to be on at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today was super early because I'm a kid in the candy store. So I did this, today at 11. But the next Sundays are going to be 12 p.m. Go watch the replay. I said a mouthful. And everyone have a dynamic week. I can't wait to see your responses individually to me in Messenger. Don't put it for everybody else to see. I want to see responses to the trivia question I asked. I want to see who's going to win. I want someone to win, even if it's just one person. I want to announce a winner every Sunday. Also, I'm going live on Christmas. Yes, Christmas falls on the 25th. That's on Sunday, 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern. You got to tune in to see next Sunday and the Sunday after, and then Christmas. You got to tune in to see what the highlighted, gifts are going to be. Today I just did one for each section. What the discounted items are going to be, and also what the trivia question is going to be that you can possibly win a holiday prize for. Okay. All right. Today has been phenomenal, but I'm about to go. Got a great day planned. But if you're tuning in now, please watch this replay. I'm about to end this broadcast. Watch the entire thing. Get your notepad and pen and get all those nuggets I just dropped. And thank you for celebrating the launch of 2 years with me. I am so thankful. Have a great day. See you next Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I will announce the winner or winners of this week's trivia. Have a great day.